the apartment at the end of the hall. I moved into apartment 41616 3 months ago. The rent was cheap, almost suspiciously cheap for a place in the city. When I asked the landlord why, he just muttered something about bad luck and quickly changed the subject. I should have asked more questions. The first thing I noticed was the smell. It wasn't strong, just a faint, musty scent lingering in the air, like old wood and something damp. I assumed it was just an old building thing, the kind of smell that seeps into the walls over decades. But then, that night, something woke me up. It wasn't a sound exactly, more like a feeling, like someone standing too close behind you, close enough that you can sense their breath on your skin. I turned over in bed, my heart hammering. The room was dark, but the hallway light outside my door was still on. I strained my ears. Silence. Then, a creak. It came from the hallway, right outside my door. I stared at the gap under the door, expecting to see shadows moving, but there was nothing. Still, the feeling didn't go away. I got up, hesitated for a moment, then walked to the door and pressed my ear against it. Nothing. I exhaled slowly, shaking my head. Just my imagination. But as I turned to go back to bed, 3 knocks. Hard, slow, right on my bedroom door. I spun around so fast I nearly fell. "Who's there?" I forced out, my voice barely above a whisper. No answer. I reached for the doorknob, my fingers trembling. I knew I shouldn't open it, but I had to. I yanked the door open. The hallway was empty, but the light outside my door was off. The apartment across from. I met Mrs. Alvarez the next day. She lived in apartment 417, directly across from me. She was in her 70s, small and frail, with deep wrinkles and kind eyes, but when I told her I had just moved into 46, her expression changed. "You live there?" she asked, gripping the edge of her doorframe. "Yeah," I said, shifting uncomfortably. "Is something wrong?" She hesitated. Then in a hushed voice, she said, "The man who lived there before you, he disappeared." A chill ran down my spine. "What do you mean, disappeared?" She glanced down the hallway before whispering, "One night he was just gone, left everything behind. His keys, his wallet, even his shoes by the door. No one ever saw him leave, and the door was still locked from the inside." I swallowed. "Did the police?" "They found nothing," she murmured, like he vanished into thin air. I tried to laugh it off, but my skin prickled. Then she said something else. "Do you hear knocking at night?" I froze. Mrs. Alvarez sighed and rubbed her arms. "If you do, don't open the door." "The thing in the closet." The knocking got worse. Every night, always on my bedroom door. And then the whispering started. It wasn't loud, just a faint, raspy sound, like someone mumbling behind the walls. I started sleeping with the lights on. But the worst part? I could feel something watching me. I checked every corner of the apartment, every cabinet, every inch of the bathroom. Nothing. Until I checked the closet. It was a small, shallow space, barely big enough for my coats. But that night, when I opened it, the inside was deeper than before, way deeper. The back wall was gone, just blackness stretching into a space that shouldn't exist, a space that wasn't part of my apartment. And then I saw something move inside it, a shape shifting in the dark, watching me. I slammed the door and pushed my dresser in front of it. I didn't sleep that night. The final night, I woke up to the knocking again. 3 slow knocks. My heart pounded. I checked my phone. And then the closet door creaked open. I had blocked it. I knew I had, but now the dresser was back where it was before, and the closet door was open just a crack. The darkness inside was deeper than before. A shape stood in the doorway, tall, wrong, its limbs too long, its head tilting at an unnatural angle. It didn't move. It just stood there in my closet, whispering in that same awful, raspy voice. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. Then it stepped forward. The last thing I remember was screaming, the aftermath. I woke up to bright sunlight. My bedroom door was locked from the inside. The closet was empty. Everything in my apartment was exactly where it should be. But something was different. The air felt wrong, like the walls were holding their breath. I packed my things and left that day. I didn't tell the landlord why. I didn't tell anyone. But before I left, I saw Mrs. Alvarez standing by her door. She didn't look surprised to see me leaving. She only asked one thing. "You closed the closet, didn't you?" I nodded. She sighed in relief. Good, because once it's open, it doesn't stop looking for someone new. I moved out that afternoon. That night, as I lay in my new apartment, I got a text from an unknown number. It was just one word: knock.